Afternoon, everyone. It's Sunday, June 3rd, about 3:20 in the afternoon, and I thought I would give you a quick review here on something I bought for the camper. Seems to be working pretty well. Just a temporary thing. If you watched any of my other videos, I put that battery monitor system in the trailer, and I've been trying to just let it go and build up a memory of how much it uses. And I believe that's what Justin is wanting me to do from opting out of normal, if I'm doing this correctly. So what I did was left it go, and I get about a month on a 5-year-old battery. Just left it hooked up to the trailer, nothing running. The only thing in the camper that mine has is an LP detector that never shuts off. I do not have an RV radio. I have more of a home theater radio. So it runs on 110, doesn't run on any 12-volt systems. So it actually doesn't pull anything. So the only thing I really have in here is my LP detector. If you have other things going, maybe a light, or I know some RVs have a like a motion sensor porch light. That'll probably use up a little more at night versus just an LP detector. But what I did is I picked up here, we're going to switch this around so you can see. Excuse the mess in the truck here. I picked up this here solar panel. It's a 1.5 watt solar battery charger, it's called. It's got suction cups. You could stick it in the windshield of your vehicle, your motorhome. I suppose you could even put it in one of the side windows of your camper up near the front. I was going to do that, but didn't have enough cord to do that. That comes with it. The cord isn't very long. It actually comes in a pretty nice kit. It's got some directions for you. You know, it's all cleaned up. It comes with a cigarette lighter plug for the panel. It comes with a set of alligator clips. Again, just plugs in. And that's kind of it, you know, as far as installation stuff goes. However, I did pick up, I didn't realize at the time, they make a 100-watt solar charge regulator, or your charge controller. I guess would be my assumption to what that would be. So, it actually plugs right into all this. It gives you a little port for, like, if you wanted a light indicator or something like that, the panel, and then your battery hookups. I guess I should pay attention to what I'm pointing to, not what I'm looking at. That little guy there is nice. You can mount anywhere you like. I also picked up this kit here, 6-piece solar power connector kit. You can see all the stuff it gives you, and it actually gives me some doubles. I actually have 2 alligator clips and 2 cigarette lighter plugs. But then it gives you that, you know, cigarette lighter female end. The reason I bought it was this extension cord, so that I could run that solar charger into the camper anywhere I wanted it. And then this little indicator light is actually kind of not a bad little idea. I could mount that somewhere that would show me that the thing was charging, I suppose, is what it says it's for. It's just supposed to be an indicator. And this looks kind of jerry-rigged right now, but I haven't finalized it to know if this was going to work or not. This has been out on the trailer now for about 2 weeks with the charge controller. I had it on there for about a week without, and it didn't really do a whole lot. It actually ran the battery dead. And that may be part my fault, because I started it at like 11.7 volts. And was hoping that this would bring it back up, and it didn't. So I brought the camper home for the holiday weekend for Memorial Day, left it plugged into the house, got it good and charged, left this guy on there. And then during the day, I think I brought it home Friday night. So then Saturday, I went into the trailer and turned off my breaker for the converter, which charges the battery, and had just this in direct sunlight all morning, just doing its thing. And it did a beautiful job maintaining it. And then turned around when the sun went down and flipped the breaker back on, so the camper was charging the battery itself. And then I did it again the next day, same thing, did a beautiful job. I didn't have anything running inside. And here's where we're at so far. Right now, this little guy, when I first plugged it in that day, it said low voltage and charging. I haven't seen any high voltage yet. I've checked on it. I think this is actually the first time I have checked on it. Pretty simple. Like I said, it even tells you right here what you're doing. Solar, battery, load. those there, I'm probably just going to cut those off. I just left them hanging out of the battery case. But what I've been doing is just setting this guy right in here with the battery, like so, putting the lid back on it and letting it go. Now if this works out, since I actually have 2 of these alligator clips, sets of these, I'm actually going to cut the wires off and wire them right underneath the nut so they stay attached to the battery. Then I can just unplug the controller whenever I need to. So if I'm thinking about this correctly, I'm kind of thinking with that controller, I might actually need to go pick up another kit or see what I can do about making another set of these wires, because I think I'm actually going to need 2 of these. One to run from the battery into the controller, and then from the controller out to the solar panel. Because the panel I think I'm going to leave, I'm actually hoping to do here is mount this, actually just the right size for this lid here. So I'm hoping to mount this to the lid more permanently. The bungee cords, like I said, that was just kind of a quickie thing to see if this was going to work before I start drilling holes in my stuff. And since it seems to be working all right, my hope is to mount that permanently to this, and just let the wire hang off and go right down to the battery. I mean, it's just from there to there for now, but eventually I'll have to run it somewhere else. But right now, the camper's just running off of that thing, and it's actually showing a pretty healthy 12.59. So that is, you know, and it's fluctuating 5.9, 5.8. And again, the LP detector is the only thing in here that's going. So yeah, so that I don't think is really too bad for not knowing what I'm doing. I am going to eventually get, you know, the big setup, the panels on the roof, the MPPT, I think I'm saying it right, charge controller. I'm looking at a Go Power, I think that's called a smart inverter, I think, if I'm not mistaken. The smart 3000 watt. It'll run the trailer, it'll run everything in the camper that I set it up for, whatever I have on the inverter. Obviously the air conditioner is not going to be one of those, but you know, my TVs, my DVD player, possibly my refrigerator, the microwave would be a nice thing to have on it. Even if I got to shut some stuff off in order to run it, that'd be fine. You know, her hair dryer, things like that. Not so much our electric water heater. I'd probably leave that off and just run the water heater on propane. But it's supposed to do is, if I understood this correctly, when you're plugged into shore power, if you don't have good shore power, where you're getting your full amperage that your coach requires to run things, it will actually kick in and start providing additional power to the trailer. Another good reason why I like the idea of going solar here with the batteries and the inverter is, and this is not the best way to check things, but it has been a pretty good telltale. This little guy here has kind of helped me gauge a little bit what kind of power usage we're having at the campground. When we start tripping breakers on the pole, or the pole starts getting hot, and I do check that. If you check it on a holiday weekend, your cord where it plugs in, my cord actually was getting hot a couple different times, and to save myself that, I flipped the water heater to propane, refrigerator to propane. Only thing running inside, and again, it's a hot day, is the air conditioner, and then obviously the charging system for the battery. So and actually the cord starts to cool off a little bit, and then too, you figure the air conditioner is running a lot more, it's not shutting off as much. I don't have one of those 4 seasons package and all that stuff. Mine is just a regular stick and tin, we call it, trailer with regular pink insulation in the walls. I got a 13.5 AC. If you've watched some other videos, you know that I want to put a second air on here. And ideally, I'd like to get a 15 for the living room, put the 13.5 from the living room into the bedroom. And somehow tie that one into the ductwork so that the 2 of these are working together to keep the trailer cooler. So, yeah. I think for what little bit I have into it, I think the panel was like 30 bucks. I think that solar charger might have been another 30 bucks. And that kit, I'm thinking was pushing 40, like $35, $38 maybe. And I don't have the receipts in front of me. Those are all tucked away in a file in the house somewhere. And I didn't buy all this at once. I bought the panel 1 week, went a few weeks with the panel, noticed the battery was dead. More than a week, and I went to Harbor Freight and bought the charge controller and the adapter kit for it. And and then I also had coupons for all this stuff too. So I got 20% off when I bought the panel, but I bought other stuff with it. Same thing when I bought the adapter and the charge controller. I had another coupon off, so I saved a little bit of money there. If you sign up for their program that they've got there, which is, it costs you like $40 for a year. I figure let's see what it does, and so far it saved me quite a bit of money. I've been in there quite a bit and spent at least 100. I walk out there usually just about $100 or under, and not usually under too often. But so that's where we're at this year with the Flight. I did get some of our seasonal stuff here out. I'll show you here. I got the coolers out of the trailer. I've got the rims are gone. The sink, actually, I'm going to clean up that sink and try and sell it. Somebody might need it, or I'm going to use it in the 92, one of the two, if the 92 needs a sink. I picked up a different breaker panel setup for our trailer. Again, we're 30 amp service, so we have the bottom one's our main, then the microwave, GFI reefer, and ceiling fan, which obviously we don't have a ceiling fan, but that's a generic label. The air conditioner, utility converter, and water heater. So what I've got is a 50 amp breaker panel. Originally it had the converter mounted on the right side of it. This one here I have in the trailer as a standalone. So the converter is actually mounted to the floor of the camper, separate from the lights coming in there. Sorry about that. The light's actually coming in blinding you guys, so I don't want to move it a little bit. The converter is actually mounted to the floor, separate from the breaker panel. Some units are like that. Some units are all built in together. This one was built in together, but it doesn't have that, and that's fine, because again, the inverter is also an inverter charger, so that will be my charging system for the trailer, for the battery, and all my 12-volt systems. Again, this is if I'm understanding everything correctly. This is all really new to me. And then on top of that, my inverter that's in here will probably just stay there. I just won't use it. It'll be disconnected. And if that ever fails, I have a backup, just for lighting and whatnot, because without a 12-volt charging system, you don't have any lights in an RV. And then with the 50 amp setup, I'm hoping to split things off a little bit and have, because I want to put the second air on, I need 50 amp service anyway, so I need a 50 amp breaker box. So I'm already set up there for the bigger breaker box. I'm hoping to put the air conditioner, each air conditioner, one on each side of the leg. And, you know, again, that inverter, if I'm doing this correctly, the second air will go down through that thing. And I'll only obviously run the second air if I'm on shore power. I'm not going to try and run it off of battery power. I'm not quite that dumb. I mean, I've listened to a lot of people out there, and Justin was very clear that that's not something you really can do. It can be done, but not in this travel trailer. I don't have anywhere to put enough batteries in this thing to keep us under the weight limit still. We'd be pretty overweight, and we'd have camber issues in our chassis. Our axles would also have cambering issues then, and I don't want that, so I just assume stick with whatever we need to run the things I want to run, and that's it. But anyway, so I can branch things off a little bit more and have the air on one side, the main air on the other side with the water heater. If there's some other, I mean, again, I'd like to have it where the receps all work so that we could charge, you know, laptops and things of that nature. I mean, the phones can all be plugged into 12-volt receps, which I'm going to pick up some of them and wire those into the trailer too, so that next to the bed and then in the bunk bed where I sleep, my CPAP machine, I found an adapter for it for a cigarette lighter plug. So that's nice. So when I do get to that point, if we do a lot of road traveling, we stop doing boondocking, I'll be able to plug that in to the cigarette lighter plug and run it instead of going through an inverter. Everybody's told me that that's not an efficient use of your battery power. It has to convert it or invert it to run to get back to that. Then the CPAP actually converts it or back down, and then it does its thing. So the 12-volt adapter should be more efficient. So, and it's not expensive. I don't think it was $50 for that wire. I think it was probably less than that. But yeah, so that's kind of my hope here. And I'm not like I'm going to add a lot of extra things to the trailer. The second air is one thing, and I believe you have to have a breaker, if I understood correctly, for the inverter. So there'll be a breaker in here for the inverter. And then everything else will just run, I guess, the way it runs. I'm not 100% sure. It's all pretty new stuff to me, so trying to kind of gauge things in my head and figure out what I want to do here and make sure I'm understanding correctly. But meanwhile, I'm hoping that that'll happen in the future. It's probably not going to happen this year. I'm kind of liking a lot of the Go Power stuff. They got some nice products out there from what I can tell. There's an outfit out here somewhere in our area that sells them, I believe. Excuse me, we use a fella from at work that when customers call in having questions about solar, the solar prep on a lot of our units, we just direct them to him and he takes it from there. So, yeah, I guess that'll kind of do it for now, guys. I just thought I'd give you a little review on that, tell you that I do like it. I think so far it's working pretty well, and I think that just for maintaining the battery, I think it's a pretty good little setup. For what, about $170, I think, if I'm thinking that right. Next this bulb's $120, 67. Oh, it'd be about 180-ish, without any coupons and all that stuff. And I'm sure I'm forgetting tax. You're lucky I figured that out that fast, basically. So, but just stay tuned, and we'll see what else we get done this year. The 92 is coming up. We're getting a lot of stuff together for that. I got all the plywood decking. I've got all the studding, I believe, for the walls. I've got the joists for the floor and the roof. I'm missing, I need a piece of flat trim for the top of the roof where the back wall metal wraps up and it meets the roof on the top. Again, I don't know if I've ever mentioned it, but it's actually a metal roof, not a rubber roof. And there's no plywood decking in the roof. That's the way they did them back in the day. So my hope would be to find a piece of trim for that, and I want to put one on the front too, so I'm hoping to find either 2 8-footers or 1 16-foot and then cut it down to fit the trailer. As well as I still need putty for windows. I have to pull all 3 windows in the bedroom out, and I have to pull both doors out, entry doors. The rear one for sure because of the floor, obviously, and the front one, if I ever mentioned it, there's a spot inside the floor where the guy had fixed it, and there's like a 3/4 piece of plywood on top of the main floor. Yeah, that's got to go away. It'll never sell like that. So I've got to fix that too. But the main thing is that bedroom. That should be coming along. Hopefully, we should be rocking and rolling here by July, if I'm lucky. If not, then it's going to wind up being a year-long project instead of just a spring project. But I haven't fixed the leak yet. Obviously, I don't have all the stuff to do that, but I also haven't started rebuilding any of it. All the parts are actually in the kitchen at the front of the trailer where there is no leaks. So it's actually in a dry area. What else do I need for that thing? I don't have any carpet yet, so I need carpeting. I need for the bedroom, and if you remember, I was going to replace it in the living room too. So carpeting, construction adhesive for the decking to the floor joists, insulation. I'm kind of torn between screwing it together all together or using the I think it's a Q29, I think it is. They're real long, narrow staples. That's how the trailer was built. Time-wise and efficiency-wise, that would be faster. I don't want to use a wide crown because I think that'll show. My understanding is the Q29s have glue on them, so the friction of the staple going through the wood heats up the glue, and it kind of adheres everything together, so it actually helps hold it together. So I may do that. I may go wide crown. I really don't want to. I may go with screws. I don't know. Excuse me. Gosh, it's almost 4 o'clock. So, yeah, I think that's about everything I need. And the big thing I really need is I really need a holiday weekend, but we're going to take my nieces out for the 4th. It's going to be a 4-day, I think the holiday's on a Wednesday, so it'd be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that'd be, what, 3, 4, be 5 days. So we're going to wind up probably doing a camping trip for like Wednesday through Saturday probably, and then come home, or Friday, 3 days out, and then have a couple days here at home. Would be kind of nice. The kids get what they want. I get a little bit of what I want. Gives me time to clean this up, put it away, and then have a little time to relax. And then following that, we actually are going to have to move up our vacation to take the kids home in August. We're actually going to move it up to the first, I think it's the 27th of July we're going to have to leave. 27th to 28th. We want to be down there long enough to visit my brother-in-law. We haven't seen him for quite a while. So we'll be down there. They got their new house in Arkansas, Hensley, Arkansas. So kind of hoping to do that. Even though it's moved up sooner, we're hoping to have time for that. And then we'll probably leave like Wednesday, Thursday, start heading home. Maybe even Thursday, Friday. And then take our time. Maybe drive 4 or 5 hours the first day, or 6 hours the first day, and then just have a couple hours the last day. You know, I don't know. And that'll give us time to get home, clean out the camper, put our stuff away, wash it down, put it away, and just laundry and relax. That's what we're kind of hoping for. So, yeah. So hopefully you guys are finding this stuff interesting. Hopefully I've taught somebody something, or maybe somebody could teach me something for a change. You know, I do a lot of the teaching at work, and I try to give everybody the best I can. So if somebody's got something to add to the trailering life, not that I don't need a little extra, I can always use a little extra advice somewhere, feel free to let me know. Again, you're watching Working to Relax, and hopefully you found this informative. Keep following me along for stuff on the 92, as well as any additional stuff on the flight. You guys have a good day.